everybody, Being the Braver coming to you live once again on this beautiful Sunday morning, afternoon. It's morning for me. I just woke up like 2 hours ago, but I'm having a pretty good morning so far. How about you? I see we got Crafty Chen chat saying hello, Rosie Raven and Dan Bomb. Hello, welcome. And I just saw somebody else pop in. Let me pull up the screen so I can actually see it closer. Ersumus, hello, Bean. Hello, welcome. Like, hello and a good morning to everybody on this. Oh, that's gorgeous for me. I imagine a lot of the country and the world is still buried under snow, but we're doing okay on the West Coast. How's your day going? Anyways, I said welcome. How's it going? I picked up my water bottle and I realized I forgot to actually fill it up, so we'll take care of that later. Anyways, shall we jump into some Minecraft? Are we in the mood for some Minecraft? Some mining, some crafting, and some yapping? I think we are. Let's go. Oh, there we go. And I need to turn on my lo-fi. Making a quick U-turn. I gotta go back into Spotify. Spotify sucks, but it works. Where are stream beats? There we go. So far, my little stream beats collection is working well. I haven't gotten a copyright ding on any of the previous streams where I've used it. The motorcycles are out like crazy today. So you're gonna hear them zipping by the window, probably like every 5 minutes. There we go. Anthony, welcome. Hey person, sadly can't join, but I'll watch later. Have good vibes. Ah, thank you. The VOD will be here. There we go. You can hear some Animal Crossing coming through. There you go. Now you can hear Animal Crossing coming through. Everything works. Dan Bomb says, how did your interview go? Well, the interview itself went good. The lady I talked with asked good questions, and I asked good questions in return. And she was chatty, I was chatty, so we ended up just talking for quite a bit after the interview was over. And all in all, it went really good. And then I got a text the next day saying, sorry, position has been taken by someone else. And then I got a call from work saying, hey, we know that you were like supposed to be scheduled tonight, but we didn't make enough sales today, so we gotta cut you because of payroll. And it's like, okay, I'm just getting screwed left and right. Let's keep playing Minecraft and hope that we can start to make a living here before I have to move back home with my parents. Not that it would be bad, but it's cold. It's cold over there. Not single player, I didn't mean to hit that. Multiplayer. There we go. That's typical and that sucks. Yeah. He said, I shotgunned my resume to like 20 more businesses over the past 2 days. And haven't heard a damn thing back from any of them. Not a word. So I think I might have to get to the point where I need to just call these places like immediately afterwards and be like, hey, you got my resume, right? Right? It said you're urgently hiring. Are you? And just start being annoying. It's time to just start being annoying. I don't do well with like resumes and online job stuff. I don't do it with like online stuff. Like, this is the extent of my online knowledge. I know how to edit a video, but then when it comes to like doing other stuff online, I don't like it. I prefer pencil and paper. I prefer talking to people in person. So like back in my college town, every job that I got during college, I got by walking into a business and saying, hey, do you need somebody? And they were like, yeah, actually, here's a paper, fill it out, and then when can you start? I'm like, all right, next Tuesday. I got class at 12, so I can be here in the morning. I got every job that I asked for by doing that. That's how I got dishwashing job. I cleaned a bar in the morning. I was a janitor for a bar, and I got it just by walking in and saying, hey, you need someone to sweep your floors? And he was like, yeah. The job working at the school itself, I found one of the other janitors before I graduated and was like, hey, do you guys have any openings? Because, I'm not leaving town for a bit. I'm going to need a job. And she was like, yeah, actually, here's the number for our supervisor. Actually, she's in her office right now. I'll take you there. Let's go. So, like, every job that I've had previously, I got by walking into the place and saying, I can push a broom. And now working with, like, online job resumes and job hunting websites where you need to make an account for every single job that you apply for, it's soul sucking. I would rather go talk to somebody. I hate it. I hate it. To put it simply, it just let me go talk to somebody and shake their hand. That's what I'm good at. At the point where even applying for like assistance to like with help getting a job, the website is so old that I looked at it and I'm like, I don't know if I'm clicking the correct thing for what I want. So I might just I need to find the actual unemployment office, because I'm not technically unemployed yet, because I'm technically still working, even though I get scheduled like maybe twice a month. So at this point, I'm like, I'm just going to walk into the unemployment office and find somebody behind a desk and say, hey, here's my situation. I'm trying to get a job. Can you, I don't know, be my reinforcements and yell at some people to make them hire me? If I get a little ticket stub from you saying this person needs a job, don't ignore them, will that help? I don't know. But I think I'll definitely get more answers and a better direction of what to do if I just find somebody in person, because online, I don't know if I'm clicking the right thing. I don't know. I'm probably not. Dan Dorm says, I suck so bad at talking IRL. So you'd be good at applying for the stuff through the websites. I mean, I gotta go knock on a door and say, hey, am I in the right place? And they say, no. I say, okay, can you show me to the right place? And they're like, yeah, it's down the hall. Okay. I work with that a lot better. But that's the thing I learned about being an adult. And I was just telling someone this the other day. Is a big part of, like, growing up, being an adult, making the transition from school to the real world. You don't magically learn everything overnight the second you turn 20. You don't magically learn anything ever. But the biggest thing to, like I said, growing up and being an adult and doing all the big responsible things is just finding the right people and asking questions. Unlike school, you don't get punished in the real world for asking questions. Like in school, if you ask a question, you get yelled at for not paying attention, and it negatively impacts your psyche, and you're like, oh, I guess I will never ask for help ever again, because that's a bad thing to do. And fire and fury upon every teacher that does that. JMPT, hello there! Welcome! Good to see you! We're complaining about the current state of the job market. It's got to the point where I'm gonna have to go to an unemployment office and just start asking questions of like, hey, I tried applying online for like 50 places. Can you give me a boost? Can you give me a little help? Some advice? Anything. Public school is just bull in general. Yeah. Our grade, when in high school, our graduating class, was really good at complaining. That's the thing. It was a really small school. I had a graduating class of 80. So I got it's weird looking at like just the amount of subscribers that I have, or even like the amount of people who look at like a video and thinking that like I graduated with 80 people. To me, that was my level of a lot of people. There's more people here than the class I graduated with. There's almost more people here than were in my school in general. So that's a thought that pops in my head every now and then. It's like, I graduated with 80 people. So like, even 100 is a lot. Yeah, where was I going? Oh yeah, our graduating class was really good at complaining. The kids below us, the kids in the grades below us, were absolutely batshit wild. They were the ones getting into fights. They were the ones slamming other kids into glass display cases. They were the ones breaking sinks in the bathroom. They were like violent and wild. And then you had our class graduating. We were tired. We were tired. We were happy to just sit in a room with the lights off and ask the smart kid in the class how to do the math problem. And then the smart kid told us, and then we filled it out, drew a dick on the paper and handed it in. And the teachers appreciated that. The teachers appreciated that. But what we did do well was complain. And at the end of our graduating year, the school actually did like a little survey of like, alright, graduating class, do you feel prepared for the real world? Is there any classes that you wish you had taken? Is there any classes that you weren't a fan of that you would like to see change for future generations and stuff like that? So it was nice that they gave us a survey. And we did not hold back. Every single person was like, you didn't teach us shit about how to be an adult. You didn't teach us anything about how to actually navigate the real world. None of us know how to buy a car. None of us know how to write a check. We barely know how to do percentages because we covered it once in 9th grade and never touched it again. Our accounting class just involved watching Gordon Ramsay videos about how to not go into credit card debt while the teacher sat there on his phone. You didn't teach us anything, and you cut home ec when we were in 7th grade. Congrats, we're useless. And we did not hold back. Every single student tore into them, from the smartest kid to the dumbest kid. We were all just like, you didn't do a good job. We don't know how to be adults. So now, all the students who had like younger siblings, they're reporting back, over Snapchat and stuff, of like, well, they brought back home ec. And they have several accounting classes now. So the younger kids know how to do that stuff, but we still don't because we didn't get it. I had a point with this. I don't know where it's going. Searched for a job a few weeks ago. I have not gotten word back, so might have to keep looking. Absolutely, you will not hear back from 99% of the jobs you apply for. Unless you call them and annoy them yourself. I had a terrible teacher who wouldn't help me. My counselor was confused on why I had an F and the rest were A's and B's. Exactly, bad teachers ruin so many brilliant kids. Like, we would have so many more geniuses in the world if it wasn't for terrible teachers who made you afraid of asking questions. That's where I was going, the asking questions thing. Dad Bomb says, I think my graduating class was also around 80, although I didn't actually graduate. I dropped out thanks to COVID. I got my equivalency diploma in 2023. That's good, you got a diploma anyways. Yeah, COVID screwed up school for a lot of kids. I had it first year of college. Like, I didn't have COVID. I went through COVID first year of college. It was like at the tail end of the end of my my freshman year. We were like we were like 2 months away from the spring semester ending, and then COVID hit, and we all had to just pack up and leave the dorms early and just leave, just go home. That's right, we left for spring break and then we didn't come back. We were tired, so relatable. Yeah, we were a tired group. Like, we were rowdy, like, first few years, and then once it got to, like, 11th, 12th grade, our group just got super tired. We were like, man, I just want to graduate with anything and get out of here. We were ready to go to work. We were like, okay, let's just go apply for Goodwill or something. Let's go. We knew that, like, physically fighting each other was pointless. And so we had people who were, like, catty to each other verbally and through phone, but physically we knew better than to start punching people. Like I said, the grades underneath us, they were slamming kids into display cases, and they were the ones writing bomb threats on post-it notes in the bathrooms and threatening to beat people up and then actually beating people up in the hallways. It was like every other week we heard about an 8th grader getting into a fist fight. And we were like, what the hell is wrong with those kids? Anyways, you guys want to go to Subway after this? Come on, let's just walk to Subway after this. Rosie Revin, hi chat, hi Bean, what are we chatting about? Right now we're just yapping about school. I got on a tangent, now we're here. School bad, school not schooling. Yeah, there's so many people who are so genuinely brilliant, curious, and good, and then the school system is like, the only thing that matters is if you get an A and nothing else. Your mental health does not matter, your physical health does not matter. We will push you to literal torturous extremes because our funding depends on your SAT scores. So here's a bunch of garbage you don't care about, and we're not going to teach you how to do percentages or taxes or how to buy a car or how to actually, be prepared for the real world anyways. And then a lot of teachers are like, oh, well, your parents should teach you that. The only reason I know how to do the stuff that I know is because my parents taught me it. But a lot of kids don't have that privilege. A lot of kids don't have that. Same thing with, like, health class. They're like, we don't need to teach you how babies are made. Your parents will do that. And then not a single kid's parents taught them how babies are made. The only extent they got of any kind of health education from their parents was sex is bad and you'll go to hell. And it's like, no, I think the school has to be responsible for that. The school should be responsible for teaching, the thing that schools are for. That was ages ago. Like I said, compared to other schools, our school was pretty good. We had a pretty wide curriculum, and a lot of our teachers were really good. All of them. I did notice this. We picked up a pattern. Was a lot of our math teachers were really mean. And overall, our school, SAT math score was really low. All of our English and science teachers were awesome. They were fun, they were exciting, they listened to their students, they were the ones that students would, like, hang out with in the hours after school before being picked up, that they would just talk to about, like, real life stuff. Reading and science scores, through the roof. Math scores, tanked, because all of our math teachers were dicks. And it's like, God, there is a correlation. Dan Baum says, my biggest fear is committing tax fraud unintentionally because I didn't learn how. Looping back around to my point about being an adult, and that as an adult, you don't get in trouble for asking questions. You don't have to do your taxes yourself when you're an adult. Literally, I just did my taxes, like, last week. And what you gotta do is, if you're working, you get a paper called a W-2 form from your work. And the W-2 basically just records how much money your employer gave you throughout the last year. You take that paper, and if you work multiple jobs, you get a W-2 from each one. So it's like W-2 from McDonald's, W-2 from Goodwill. If you work at 3, W-2 from Subway. You get the W-2 from your employers. You take these to an accountant, and you hand them off. It does cost a bit for an accountant, but it's worth it to have somebody else do the math and paperwork for you. You take the paperwork that you need, you take the W-2s, you hand them to an accountant, and the accountant does the taxes for you, and then they give you a receipt, and then you pay them like $80, and then your taxes are done. And if you don't understand a part of the process, you ask the accountant, and they'll answer you. I went to go do my taxes last week. I got my W-2 form from current work, previous work from last year. I took them in and I'm like, I think this is all the paperwork I need. And he's like, okay, so it says here that you were on like a state insurance for a few months. And I'm like, yeah, I was on state insurance while I was moving in case of, in case of emergency, in case of car accident. I was on state insurance while we were doing the cross-country trip before I got insurance out here. He was like, okay, you need a piece of paper from the insurance company, that states how much money you paid them. It's like, okay, and that's like a 1090B. If you work for a place that gives you insurance, they give you that paper along with your W-2. And it's just the paper that says, this is how much insurance money we took out of the paycheck, this is how much money we paid the insurance company. And you take that paper and you hand it off to the accountant. So while I was in the accountant's office, he was like, okay, do you have 1090B? And I'm like, nope. And he's like, okay, call the company and have them email it to you. And that's the part that took 2 hours. That's the part about being an adult that nobody knows how to do, is that insurance sucks across the board. We don't need to go on a tangent about that. You know it sucks. But yeah, for taxes, go to an accountant. I went to H&R Block. They're across the country. And I'm sure there's other ones. You see the ads online, TurboTax, stuff like that. Go find an accountant. If you don't know how to start, just ask them, and they'll tell you. Because that's their job. That's their job. They're nerds. They get excited about doing taxes. It's like, oh, how do I do it? They're like, well, let me explain. And there you go. Like I said, you gotta pay a fee, but it's worth it to have it done quickly and correctly. And also, they do a good job. There's $80. There you go. There we go. Back to chat. Arsuma says, I love the school I'm going to right now. It's amazing and love everyone because they are all so kind and nice and really easy to talk to. That's good. That's good. Like I said, I've heard the horror stories, but if you're with a good group of people, good students and good teachers, it makes the learning so much easier when you're not literally fighting for your life. Rosie says, my primary school put me in the bottom set of everything just because I had dyslexia, despite not only really relating to English, but then when I went to secondary, I was in bottom set of everything. Aww. They're just like, oh, you're not perfect at this? Fail. I'm very thankful that, like I said, I had a lot of crappy math teachers, and I can do math, I'm just very, very slow at it, which is why throughout my retail jobs, I'm like, don't put me on cash register. If your goal is for the registers to move quickly, don't put me there. If it's like a bookstore where you get like 1 customer per hour, yeah, I can do it. But a retail store where you got 50 people on line, no. I'm not going to help the store in any way. I had one math teacher who understood that I would flip numbers around. I believe it's called dyscalculia. Because I never got tested for, like, dyslexia itself, because I was always just, good at reading in school. But I think it's just the ADHD interfering with the wires going to the eyes that sometimes will make a dyslexia-like effect for me. So sometimes I'll flip words around, sometimes I'll see an F as a 1 or a 7 as a 2. Like I say, it's not constant enough, but it happens enough that I notice it. And with numbers, it's a lot harder. And thankfully, I had one good math teacher throughout the entirety of high school. Everybody loves him. I had one good math teacher who understood that I would flip numbers around, and he would I did a test and he would hand it back to me before he graded it, and he was like, I know you didn't mean to write 4/3 when the question is asking about 3/4. Do you want to fix that before I check it? And I was like, God, yeah, thank you. So he did that for all the students. If somebody made like a very obvious, like, oh, they just misread it error, he would hand it back to them and said, hey, read it again, and then I'll grade it. And all of the bad kids who were, detention every other day, grades failing, when they got into his class, magically they did better. Because he sat with them and he went through each problem slowly, and he made sure you did not leave until you understood it. And he was the only math teacher in the school who did not yell at you for asking questions. And then he would tell really funny stories. He was cool. Absolute local legend. And like I said, it was like the more complicated of like college algebra, and we went through maybe like 2 or 3 problems a day very slowly. He was like, the goal is to understand it. I'm not gonna make you do 100 questions if you don't understand how to do one. So let's work on this one. And he's just very chill guy. I love him. I hope he's doing okay. He's probably retired by now. He deserves it. Oh, Rosie says, and then first math test in year 7, they were like, oh, she's really good at math, and got immediately moved up to the middle set. There you go. Oh, God, JMT says, my school cut class funding to build a stadium. Typical. Our school, for our school district, they tried to pass a thing that said, like, hey, we're gonna raise taxes just a little bit so that we can afford the money to build a new elementary school, because the elementary school is literally, like, falling apart with freezing pipes and bricks falling loose. And the entire town said, no! And then the next year they were like, hey, could we raise taxes a little bit to build a new gymnasium that's just a big tin box outside the school that looks hideous? And they were like, yeah! So the elementary school is still due to be bulldozed, and high schoolers got an outdoor gymnasium that looks hideous. It looks... Alright, I'm gonna go now and get my morning coffee. Beautiful! Go get your coffee! I adored my math teacher, and it really helped me excel in math, almost like the teacher makes a difference. Yes! Excel, not expel. There's the dyslexia. It's okay. Congratulations, I have now learned more from a streamer with 300 subscribers than I did from high school. Exactly! The biggest thing that'll get you through adulthood is just going places and asking questions. If your parents are available and easy to talk to, you can go to them and say, hey, I want to do my taxes on my own. How do I do it? And if parents aren't available and you've got questions, well, first of all, you got Google, but I always find you get a more reliable answer by talking to someone in person. Because Google, the AI and stuff, it's misinformation, or it could be something specific to your car that you're not sure about, or something really specific that a general search won't answer. But when you're an adult, if you have a question about anything, go ask questions. Go ask questions. Like I said, during college, since I didn't have any finance classes in college either, because I was doing artwork, I just went to our local bank, walked in and was like, can you explain how a bank works? Because I'm working for the first time and I have a check. What do I do with it? I hand it to you, but what next? And this one, she was like, okay, well, we have a little bit of time. Would you like to make like a an appointment with one of our accountants to just sit down and explain it to you? And I'm like, yes, absolutely. And one of their accountants came out and just explained how a bank works. Of like, okay, you have a checkings account, savings account, a third account. And he was like, okay, so on the check, you have your routing numbers and you have this number. These are the numbers that you need to get into the account, so keep a hold of the checkbook so that you have these numbers available to look at if you need to get into your bank account online. This is how you write a check. And when we hold on to your money, you can put it here where it goes on your debit card, or you can put it here where it goes into savings. You can move it from savings to the debit card, or vice versa. If you put it on a credit card is different from a debit card. And like I said, I just walked in and asked, how does a bank work? And they sat down and told me. Same stuff with like car stuff. If you don't know what the lights on your dashboard mean, go to like a Walmart garage. Take a picture of it, walk to a Walmart garage, and be like, what does this mean? Do I need to make an appointment to fix that? And they'll be like, no, that just means your door's open. If you don't know how to buy a car, if you've got like a local dealership, walk in and be like, hey, I'm saving up to buy a car someday. What do I need to know about it? And they'll tell you. They'll tell you. The real world is so much easier than school because, like I said, if you don't know something, just go find somebody and ask. And even if it's scary, even if you're anxious, don't be, because these people working there, it's their job to know that stuff. It's like asking a nerd, like, hey, can you describe the plot of Star Trek to me? They get excited about it. They're like, gladly. Yes, I'll tell you. Like, if you talk to a car salesman, they'll be more than happy to explain how to sell a car. Like, that's to all you young folks out there figuring out adulthood for the first time, like I say, just go ask questions. You're not gonna magically learn everything when you turn 20. You're not gonna magically learn everything when you turn 25 or 30. You learn things by asking questions and putting in the effort to learn things. If you don't know what a 401k is, I'm still not sure either, so I should probably go ask somebody about that soon. I think it's retirement. If you don't know about retirement savings, like I said, ask the bank. Be like, hey, should I start saving for retirement now? The answer is yes. Because all the quarters that you put into retirement now is what you're gonna use after you retire to, survive. So put quarters in the jar now. That's my advice. Figure out, as soon as you graduate high school, you should be opening up a retirement savings account. Do not touch it. Keep putting quarters in it. That's my financial advice. Rosie says, I would sometimes flip numbers around, and my math teacher pointed out that was probably because of dyslexia and helped me a lot. I had him through my time in secondary school, and I'm so grateful for that. Yeah! Like I said, that's what our teacher was to me. He said he'd see the 4/3 and be like, did you mean 3/4? And I'm like, yes, I meant 3/4. He's like, okay. So Rayla says, I have to leave to read the newest chapter. Have fun yapping, Bean. You haven't read it yet. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Just a heads up, I'm sorry. Hope you enjoy reading, it's really cool. Thank you. Jean and Dragon says, sorry YouTube ads, but I don't think dragons need car insurance. Ooh, maybe flight insurance? Flight insurance. Fire insurance. Definitely. That is the hardest part about being an adult so far, is just talking to insurance companies, because that does involve being on the phone for like 2 hours just talking to a robot, and then it's like, hey, can I talk to a real person, please? And they're like, no. And then the robot hangs up on you. Because unlike people who you talk to in real life, who are excited to explain things to you, insurance companies operate by being dysfunctional. The less you understand about it, the more likely you are to pay absurd sums of money for something you don't need. And the less it works, the less money they have to pay you. So that's the kicker about being an adult, is dealing with insurance companies. You need car and health. You need car insurance, you need health insurance. Renter's insurance if you're in an apartment, house insurance if you're in a house. But who owns a house nowadays, am I right? Yeah, that's the biggest thing. And of course the price of everything. But as far as like figuring out how to do things, just ask. Let's go find someone and ask. Like I said, you don't even have to like go into a business. A trusted adult, your parents, your neighbor, older brother, your friend who already who already went through it. Just ask. Just ask. Yeah, just ask. This works. Can confirm. Yeah, like I said, the people who you talk to about these things, it's their job to know. They're gonna be excited about telling you how it works. Elixir says, I always had trouble asking questions growing up. Anxiety sucks. Yeah, but that's where it takes practice. It takes time, it takes practice. Especially if, like school, you got in trouble for asking questions. It's gonna be hard to do it later because you're expecting them to get mad at you for not knowing. But, like I said, in the adult world, the majority of the people you interact with are gonna be pleasant and they're gonna do what they can to help you. Especially, like I said, you come in as just like a 20-year-old and you're like, this is my first time doing this. Yeah, like a brochure I could read. And Crystal Insurance, yes. I love talking to people because everyone has a little expertise. Like, I know the bird of prey, specifically vultures and rabbits and guinea pig care, but other people there have little expertise. Yeah, everybody has a little nugget that they can give you. I know how to write fan fiction. Looping it back around. Rosie says, yeah, especially the ending of the new chapter is so fun, and I love connecting chapters to past drawings. So looping back around to Tales of the SS Hermit, while at some point I'm gonna do some actual work on this island, but for now I'm just gonna knock some bamboo down, keep collecting. Like I said, this is a server where I plan on doing a mega build. I want to build a hotel eventually, so just coming on here to talk and gather materials is good, because there really isn't a lot of interesting things for me to do now, other than just gather the materials to get ready for big project. What are y'all talking about reading? The latest chapter in the fanfiction that I'm writing, Tales of the SS Hermit. So, for those of you who don't know, I'm currently writing a fan fiction of Hermitcraft and, you know, related YouTubers called Tales of the SS Hermit. It is a steampunk fantasy, kind of D&D-esque story. Where can I find it? It's on AO3. If you head over to my animation channel, I've got the link to the latest chapter up. But like I said, it's a steampunk fantasy. It's inspired by my love of like Dungeons and Dragons and just Victorian stories in general. I grew up reading like Sherlock Holmes, Jekyll and Hyde, the stuff from that era. And I love the steampunk style. I like the Victorian style. Like I said, I love D&D and drawing fantasy creatures. And Minecraft itself lends itself to such fantasyness with like the weapons and the mysteries and the abandoned temples and potions and witches and stuff like that. So Minecraft is like a really good setting to start building a fantasy story, because there's a lot of mechanics already here, and then you can just twist it around into like, okay, if this was like an actual like magical world, you know, Lord of the Rings style, how would this actually work? How would this work? And then you throw in a dash of industrial revolution and social commentary through the form of steampunk aesthetic. And you throw in the characters of Hermitcraft. You've got a pretty good mixture for an interesting story. So in the story, it follows the adventures of the crew sailing on the steamship, the SS Hermit. And their goal is to travel around the world and rebuild abandoned villages So, like, fishing villages that have been, left to rot. Maybe there's an ancient city that got left behind for some reason. Their job is go around the world and rebuild abandoned places to make them livable again. And that whole thing kind of came from the question of, like, okay, so with Hermitcraft itself, how do you explain in a story why a total of, like, over next to 30 people from around the world are building a city together in the middle of nowhere? And then that was the answer I came up with, is that they're rebuilding abandoned villages around the world. They're a construction crew that travels by boat to different places and islands, just like this. In the latest chapter, the bit in the house, I was like, I know this, there was fan art of this. Yes! Yes! I really hope that my written description did justice to, like, the painting that I made, because sometimes there's still that disconnect of, like, okay, I can see this in my head. I could draw this and, like, make an illustration of it, but in the story, I'm like, I have to write it out with words. I can't just make a drawing and show you. A picture's worth 1,000 words, but a word is worth 1,000 pictures, so I gotta make sure I'm conveying the correct image in my head so that you at least understand where you are in space. And not be like, oh, I thought we were outside this whole time. Turns out the character's actually inside. So I gotta make sure that I can, like, nail down my descriptions and actually, so that you can actually see at least somewhat what I'm seeing without an illustration. I do want to make more illustrations for the story. Because like I said, my wrists aren't up to the task of making a whole comic. I would if I could. But I think some more illustrations to go with the story will be nice. It makes my day anytime there's a new chapter. I love it every time. Oh, thank you. I'm glad that I could give you guys something to look forward to and enjoy. And I hope the story lives up to its expectations. I was writing an original novella, but it's very unfinished. It's alright. I have about 12 chapters, and I don't care how many it's gonna be, but it's probably only about halfway done. Cool, cool. Keep writing, you have to keep us updated. Like I said, if you want a test audience, you can put them up on AO3 and just release the chapters one by one. I do like that about AO3, is releasing the chapters one by one and getting, like, the live reaction of people reading it, instead of just, like, you publish a book and send it out into the world and then you never hear from it again unless you see someone in person who's read it. So getting the live reaction of people every chapter is really cool, and getting to rub my fingers together as you guys put plot points together. It's also cool to see, like, what parts of the story you get excited about. Of, like, oh, this part made me laugh, this part made me cry. I'm really excited to see when this character shows up, or oh, I can't wait to see what happens after this. So it's good to get the feedback, like, chapter by chapter as I'm writing it. Rosie says, I love making fan art of the SS Hermit. There's always at least 3 scenes where I'm like, I need to draw this. It's just getting the time motivation to do it. I would love to see fan art of it. Broski, tag me when you do. Was that you who made B-Dubs and Scar painting together? I saw that one and I really liked that one. I took a screenshot of it. Yeah, let me know. Let me know if you make fan art of it. I'd love to share it. I'll put it up on the main channel. With your permission. Cause it's so cool, like, see, I've explained it to people before, where, like, stuff like fan art and fan fiction is like a worldwide game of telephone, where you have the source material, which is just funny guy playing Hermitcraft. And then from there, the next person hears it, and they're like, what if I change the design? And then the next person sees the design, and is like, oh, what if I built a story off the design, without seeing the original episode? And then there's a story based off the design, and someone's like, ooh, what if I made an AU of that design? And then they twist it into something else, and it just keeps going. It just keeps going. So that's, for people who aren't like deep into fandom culture and they're just like watching it just to watch Minecraft videos, seeing the bits of that fly by them and they're like, why are you drawing Green as a dragon? He's not a dragon. It's like, you gotta be there for it. You gotta be there. You gotta be tuned in to see the dominoes falling in real time. You gotta be chronically on Pinterest looking at fan art to see, oh, this is the person who started the trend of drawing him with wings, and then everybody else did it after that. And then from there, they decided to draw him as different kinds of birds, and now he's just an actual bird with no semblance of green existing. Like, it's really cool to watch. Like, someone brought up the example of Undertale and how it was like AUs built upon AUs built upon AUs. So like, if you'd only ever played the game and not interacted with like any of the fandom stuff, seeing like an AU version of Sans 12 times removed would be a little jarring. That's what I say, we're just playing with dolls. We're just playing with dolls, that's all we're doing. That's all that fanfiction is. We're taking the action figures and we're bouncing them around. Like, obviously, Spider-Man and Hello Kitty are nowhere near the same universe, but when you've got the action figures in your hands, Hello Kitty could be a mob boss running a flower shop, and Spider-Man has to go stop her. Ah, but the evil Littlest Pet Shop is here to interfere. That's all fanfiction is. We're just taking characters and we're just taking our dolls and bouncing them around. Fun fact, bamboo is broken faster with a sword. Well, that would have been helpful 4 episodes ago. Thank you. About that. I like looking up as it hits me in the face. I am gonna have to go find some gravel eventually. But like I said in the description, I do want to go find some sheep so I can start getting wool. Oh, there's some gravel. But time to go home. Dun, dun. Boop. There we go, I gotta catch up with chat before it disappears. My novella was super complicated to write and envision because it's set on an alien planet. Ooh, I love my alien stories. Throughout high school and college, the main story that I was working on was like a superhero alien story. And I'd love to bring it back someday and, you know, unearth it. I still have a soft spot for the characters. And I love my sci-fi stories. But I had to write it from the perspective of one of the aliens, meaning I couldn't just info dump. Yes, that was me. Glad you liked it. Awesome. Yeah, that was you with the fan art. Like I said, I got a screenshot of it. For example, I could just say, Lexi is from the planet Pelidero. Instead, I had to write, Lexi looks up, planetary rings of Pelidero soar across the sky, the 2 moons resting lazily in space. That's good. That's good. Like, right off the bat, that sentence, you just explained a lot of what we need to know. You painted a picture, and we can see it. Ersumus is the ghost we read about in the latest chapter connected to Cleo or just a random ghost? Well, it's connected to Cleo. Definitely connected to Cleo. And I want to say so badly what is on my mind, but I can't because it's a spoiler for like the end of the story. I love seeing fan art because everyone has their own different ways of drawing it. Like quite a few people like to draw Docky in a little lab coat. But I love to draw them in an oversized lab coat, like they stole one from Doc. Aww. I have this idea. I wanna draw it out of like Docky as a baby, and Doc has got him in like the little papoose. And because I draw Doc's horns like going up and around like that, he's just got like a baby toy hooked on the horn. So like as he's moving his head, Docky's in the backpack like playing with it. Do you have a Discord server or something? Not yet. I think I'll save that for another milestone for this channel, maybe. I'm a little frightened at the concept of running a Discord server. I don't know if I can deal with that responsibility. But it's an idea. It's an idea. I've had several people request one, so maybe when we hit 400, we get Discord server. It's also the idea, but like, no offense to you guys, but when I turn the computer off, I want Bean to go away, and I go back to being not Bean. And it's like Bean is activated when I'm here in front of the screens. So then to have a Discord server in my pocket and to be Bean like throughout the day, but as I get messages, I'm like, I don't know about that. But like I said, a lot of people have requested it, so we'll give it a shot. We'll give it a shot. We'll see. So like I said, 400 subscribers. I'll open one up. We'll give it a test run. That's totally fair. Yeah, like I said, I'll give it a try. Because my friend Hinata has a Discord server, and so far it's pretty chill over there. You know, so far people have behaved themselves. And they just talk about video games and Uma Musume. Okay, it's an idea. It's an idea. So we'll give it a try. We'll give it a try, and then I'll just post pictures of Felix and stuff. Where was I going? I need to smash the bamboo into planks. Crafting table's gone. I've forgotten how to play. Boop. Put that down. And then we do this. Oh, Uma Musume jump scare. Yes. If you're interested in Uma Musume, go check out my friend Natsutori Hinata on Twitch. That's one of her favorite games. She keeps telling me I need to play it, but I'm like, I prefer being an audience member for that one. I prefer watching her play. She's also doing FNAFuary, where every Friday she does Five Nights at Freddy's themed, either a game or a spin-off or watching content related. So if you're interested in Five Nights at Freddy's, she's got an event for that over the next few weeks. And this Saturday for Valentine's Day, me, Hinata, and maybe Mystic will be playing Monster Prom. We're gonna do Monster Prom, Monster Camp, and Monster Road Trip. We're at least gonna see how far we can get before we get tired. This Valentine's Day is also 1 year anniversary of having my little baby boy, Felix, my little cat. His full name is Sir Felix Valentino, for a reason. I got him last year on Valentine's Day. Best gift ever. So this coming Saturday will be 1 year with him, and I want to make like a little video for him of like clips of like his best moments from throughout the year, since he showed up on stream so much. That'll be fun. I gotta sit down and work on that. Rosie says, ooh, that's how I'll be spending my Valentine's Day, chilling in the stream. Absolutely. I've said it before, I'll say it again, where I see Valentine's Day, well, first of all, it's got a special place in my heart because it's pink and full of chocolate and flowers, and it's just aesthetically my favorite. I've never had anyone to spend it with, but I love the season of Valentine's Day because February, let me tell you, growing up in the Northeast, February is one of the grossest months, and I'm sure a lot of you are feeling it right now. It's gray, it's wet, the pretty powdery snow is gone, so you're left with just the slush from the roads. The sky is the most disgusting shade of gray. It's not even like a blue gray or a white gray. It's just an icky shade of gray. February looks horrible. It is the visual representation of depression. And then in the middle of it all, pink decorations, red hearts. You walk into a store, there's balloons, there's candy, there's cakes, there's flowers. It's the only color that you'll see until St. Patrick's Day. It's such a relief on your eyes after January. So Valentine's Day has always been my savior in a very gray world. It's just pink. Oh my god. It exists. So I got a special place in my heart for Valentine's Day. Also, I see it as just a day to celebrate love in general. Love your parents, love your family, love your friends, love yourself, love your pets. I tell people if you don't have anything to do, celebrate Felix. Celebrate Felix's 1 year. Go to an animal shelter. If you can't volunteer, that's okay. You're allowed to. The thing about animal shelters is you're allowed to just go in and play with the animals. If you've got a spare $5 bill, hand it off to an animal shelter. So make it a day to go do something good. Have some love in your heart and go send it off to someone else. Don't wait for someone to give you a heart that says be mine. Just have some love in your heart and go do something good. No way, you have a cat named Felix? One of the aliens in my novella is a cat named Felix. Ah! Is it a black cat? Felix kind of looks like an alien. Sometimes his eyes go like kind of Harry the Platypusy. And I didn't mean to say that. Sometimes his eyes will go like Harry the Platypus, like sideways. And he's got like super big ears. So like Spock also would have been a good name for him. But sometimes he looks a little bit alien-like. Sometimes he acts like an alien too. He's a strange little boy. He's a very strange little boy. He figured out how to unscrew the drain in both the bathtub and the sink. And he just pawed at it and took it out. Don't know why. He's figured out how to open up the dishwasher. He's trying to learn how to open doors by just hurling himself at them. My Felix is a gray tabby. Aww! Hi, buddy. Oh, well, I gave you that. Let's go find a friend for you. Where's the other pig? That's a sheep. Here's another pig. There you go. And let's see, what color? Like a little brown baby. Ah. I'm just slowly filling my island with pigs. Let's take out some of the wheat, because I'm turning the wheat into lots. I'm turning it into hay bales. So then I can use it to build with. A boy I'm interested in has invited me to the movies on Valentine's Day, and I look forward to it. Woo! Good for you! Hopefully it's a good movie, and hopefully it goes well. And if not, hopefully, you know, you get popcorn out of it. Someday I'll go on a date. Like I said, I kind of dated a guy in high school, but it was more like, I'm a girl, you're a boy, I guess that means we should date situation. And then I was like, never mind, I like girls. And he was like, cool, can we still play Animal Crossing together? And I was like, yeah. So we'll still text and talk about Animal Crossing and Sonic and stuff. My rabbit will attempt to go into the dishwasher anytime it's open. The animals, they see the void of anything water-filled. It's the dishwasher or the washing machine, and I need to look Felix in the eyes before I shut the before I shut either the dishwasher or the washing machine, because I am terrified of accidentally putting him in there. So I need to make eye contact with him before I shut either of those doors. Usually he's just sitting in the hallway staring at me. I wish I'd gotten a picture of this, but in our washing room, I've got just, you know, some basic household tools back there, you know, ironing board, toolbox, and I've got a big 50-gallon bucket, because when you're an adult, you never know when you're gonna need a 50-gallon bucket. You will need one someday. A pipe will explode and you'll need one. But we got a 50-gallon bucket up on a shelf above the washing machine. And the other day I accidentally left the door to the room open, and I'm looking for Felix, and from within the room I hear just a distant and I'm like, oh, my baby's stuck, where is he? And I'm looking around the washing machine being like, are you stuck behind it? Are you back here? Where are you? And I look up and his head pokes out of the bucket that's on like the top shelf of just staring at me. And he was out in a second, but I wish I got a picture of that. Who made noise? Dolphin! Look at him playing with the kelp. Here, I'll give you some seeds to play with. Here you go. Beetroot? I don't know what to do with the beetroot. I'm just kind of planting it. I guess I could use it for dye. Okay, we'll save that. Carrots. And potatoes. And then I need to clear my inventory. This is just my gardening. I like gardening in Minecraft. I like just having my tiny little plots and then picking them up and planting them. Oh, got a shriek. The thing about my planet Peludiero is its main residents are basically just furries. So Felix is a gray tabby in a red hoodie. Main character Lexi is a brown panda, that kind of thing. Cool! Rosie says, I'm not too fussed on Valentine's. I don't care much for it, but that's mostly because of the drama, because other people are either obnoxiously lovey or I hate Valentine's, at least in my experience. Aw. Yeah, especially when you're in school and it's like rubbing it in your face. I'm like, oh, who's your Valentine's gonna be? I'm going to smooch him against the locker in front of everybody. And it's like, no. Ew. Stop that. Go to class. But I think it could be a nice way to celebrate love, but I also think it's important to celebrate love throughout the year. Exactly. Like I said, aesthetically, it's my favorite because it's pink. It's pink. Pink in a world full of wintry gray. And also the stores right now are full of like pink clothing and like stuff with hearts on it and stuff. So I am getting my wardrobe for the rest of the year. Let me go put my stuff away. Just finished reading the new chapter. This one was by far the saddest chapter so far. I'm sorry. The more I cry while writing a chapter, the more excited I am to send it out. It made me cry, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be good. Oh, this is gonna be good. So the thing, so for those who don't know, or haven't read it, or don't want to read it, the latest chapter in Tales of the Estus Hermit follows them. I'm just gonna throw this junk in here. It follows the hermits after they've landed on the abandoned island, and they've finally found the village that they're supposed to be rebuilding. And the chapter kind of goes into like why the village was abandoned and sort of the mystery behind it, legends, and the conclusion that Exuma's come to is that looking off of the history books and the records from the ships that have traveled here, it's very likely that the town was wiped out by a plague. And in the fantasy world, it's the Scale Plague. And on top of that, on top of the mystery, they realize that the entire town is kind of has been buried by this fast-growing ivy called kudzu. If you've never seen it, take a moment now while you're like on your device, look up pictures of kudzu, Kudzu. It seems like a fantasy plant, but if you see pictures of what kudzu does to like houses and entire towns, that entire section is based on a real plant that does that in real life. And once you see the pictures of it, you'll see exactly what I was like trying to describe, and that they thought the town had just disappeared entirely, but no, it was buried underneath of all these vines, and they just couldn't see any houses. Like I said, I had Stress do the flyby earlier to make the map, and she comes back and she's like, there's no village. And then they go and see it in person, and B-dubs recognizes the kudzu for what it is, because, you know, gardener, and he's like, oh god, we have work to do. And he like pulls aside a big bushel of vines, and you see just like a little sliver of a house inside, and they're like, the village that we need to rebuild is underneath this. We got some work to do. And they call in the rest of the hermits to basically just rapid fire, do a lot of rapid fire weeding. And as the chapter goes on, they uncover more and more houses. So it's like they pull it apart and they see a bit of a mailbox, they find like a fence, and they finally take the leaves off of a house, and finally a full house is uncovered piece by piece. And so that's the physical action of the chapter, is them finding the village and unearthing it from underneath all the vines that have grown on top of it. It was heartbreaking. Thanks for the stab in the heartbeat. You're welcome. I just picture myself holding a shovel, getting ready to smack the audience every time I post a chapter. Tales of the Estus Hermit has me laughing my ass off one moment and then on the verge of tears moments later. I'm doing a good job then. I'm doing a good job, that's my goal. Because that's the thing, is that sometimes, what I feel like some people miss with like AUs and fanfiction and stuff around like Hermitcraft, is that at their core, these characters are funny. They love making each other laugh. It's a group of class clowns who will make puns and who will tease each other constantly. And if you're making a fanfiction that's just angst on top of angst on top of angst and serious on top of serious on top of serious, you're missing the characters. Is that these guys, like I said, they love making each other laugh. They love teasing each other and bullying each other, and sometimes just being dumbasses with each other. And there's a lot of natural comedy that comes from that. I don't want it to be forced, of like, it is a comedy and they're making jokes on purpose, but it's just part of their characters, is that they acknowledge that like the world outside is scary, but somebody tripping over their shoelaces and falling in the sand is pretty funny. Even though the part that had me laughing was Wells running away from the spider. I don't know if he's an arachnophobe in real life, but I just like the idea of the guy who's like the weapons expert palace guard, who's pretty much been, you know, a fantasy police officer his whole life, just being an absolute baby around the spiders. And I might be projecting on him a little bit, because that's me. That's me. But the scene of him seeing the spider, which, to be honest, who wouldn't run away from a foot-long spider? But he takes off, and Etho's like, no, as long as you've got, like, the little charm on, it won't touch you. And Whale's just in the distance. I'll take your word for it! And then, like I said, even though I'm scared of spiders, I recognize that they are not harmful as long as you don't bother them, and that they are just little guys doing a job. So I'm proud of myself for being able to describe the spider and being able to describe Impulse just picking it up like a turtle and walking away with it and just making it describing the spider as like being kind of cute and just like poking its legs around and just scurrying away. Because it's very difficult for me to even look at a spider. Like, I can't even look up pictures of a spider without wanting to fling my phone because of the pictures being so close to my hand. It's a very, like, physical reaction. So I think I might write some more calm scenes involving spiders, just to sort of help me through that as my own therapy of, like, and just trying to train my brain to, like, picture a spider and not be scared of it. So, I might play with that a little bit. Oh, somebody just added a new comment. I've seen the, I got it up on my phone, I've seen comments come in real time. What else can I do? Let's see, I gotta read chat before it disappears, as it keeps going up. Luffy says, also, hi Luffy, I forget if I said hi to you earlier. The trouble with kudzu here in the States, specifically Louisiana, is that it's a non-native invasive plant in a place it's not supposed to be. Exactly, it's the plant that ate the South, and it's still going. I love the scene where everyone was basically like, what the fuck is kudzu? And then Scar was like, I know what that is! Exactly, because I gotta remember with his character that, like, when we first met him in the greenhouse, his whole thing is that he's very knowledgeable about plants. As he says, he's like, I don't know a lot about a lot of things, but I know my way around a garden. So anytime like a plant comes up, he's like, I know what that is. I know the super long name for that. Because that's Scar in real life, is that he's got minimal knowledge of some things that it's like, okay, that should be common sense. How'd you miss that? And then everything else, it's like encyclopedic knowledge of the most intricate things. So I really want to make sure I play with that and not just be like, oh, he's the guy who can't count. And be like, no, this guy is smart in this field. I want to show that off more. Falkor, hello, hello. We're talking about Tales of the SS Hermit. The fan fiction I'm writing. Okay, yeah, kudzu is horrible. Have you seen the pictures? So now you know what I was describing. So when they say the village was buried underneath it, it was buried. In Japan, kudzu has a much different behavior. Ooh. I imagine it doesn't spread like that. Why did I imagine kudzu was dark red and black? That would be cool. That's a fantasy story. You can picture it whatever color you want. Honestly, I thought we were gonna have a Scar says, oh no, before not knowing what he said, oh no, to ask what a thing is. But then I remember he knows the most about plants. Exactly. I imagined it as the MLP vines from the Everfree forest. Ooh. I gotta look that up. Luffy says Pearl wouldn't run away from a foot-long spider. That sounds like something typical to see in Australia. Yeah, Pearl will show up eventually. Like I said, for the story is taking place around like season 5. So all the characters who come afterwards, you know, Grian, Pearl, Gem, they will be showing up in the story, but not in this book. Think of it like different books. We got book 1, they're gonna be showing up in book 2. So they'll be here. They'll be here. I'm still seeing comments of people being like, oh, I see you mentioning the Watchers. Is Grian coming soon? No. As of right now, he's a Watcher, and he's checking out the rise and fall of the Trojan civilization in an alternate universe where everybody's a Cyclops. So he's busy. He'll be back. He'll come in eventually. I'm fine with spiders, however, if I saw a massive spider, I would at least be like, what the hell is that? Exactly. Like I said, I imagine with it being a fantasy world, a lot of people aren't strangers to giant insects, so they're at least a little bit not as scary as they are in our world, because people are like, it would probably be common in this world for people to have like spiders as pets, where it's like, it's the same as having like a fish or a lizard. And so it's probably not, they're probably not as terrifying intrinsically for people. But obviously if you come across a giant one, it's natural to run away. So like I said, I'm projecting onto Wales for that. We're proud of you for writing about spiders, Bean. Thank you. Like I said, use your writing as a chance for a little bit of therapy. And I'm like, you know what? If I can describe spiders and picture them in my head without them being scary, that might help a little bit. The only spider I hate is the daddy longlegs species. That's it, because daddy longlegs are like the one that a lot of arachnophobes aren't scared of. Because they look the least like a spider. They're just there. I've been in a lot of old houses and they like to chill out in basements a lot. So you see them scurrying, but they don't have the visual scare factor of like other spiders. They're just there. You can pick them up by the legs. I still wouldn't want to touch one. But yeah, they're in the basements a lot, the places I've lived. So it's like, okay, daddy longlegs can stay. Doc eating the vines they worked reminds me of his one thumbnail where he found the hole to the tunnel bore completely covered in grass and trees. Oh. That's right, that's the picture of him where he's just a goat going, what? Because I remember that, because I remember while I was researching Kudzu, somebody said that like the most effective way to fight it is to just set a herd of goats loose and let them eat it. Imagine while the Doc's a ramekin. And Kudzu is generally edible by people as well, so that's where I had beef going like, you know what? I'm gonna cook this stuff. Kudzu in its native environment is not as harmful. Yeah. I imagine here it's probably an invasive species as well. And we're gonna get into that in like the next chapter of like Etho and them realizing that like this island is massively like out of balance of like trees swallowing other trees, the vines covering things and choking them. There aren't a lot of animals or like deer or goats and stuff to eat the vines because the black magic and the mobs have grown so rampant that the mobs are just killing the animals. So like the entire ecosystem of this island is just out of whack, and they're gonna see what they can do to put it back in order while rebuilding the town and getting it ready for people and restoring the woods to get it ready for animals to come back. Because I'm also interested in like environmentalist science and stuff like that, so that's my chance to just talk about stuff like that, like regrowing forests and stuff. So occasionally you'll just get a chapter where a character is talking about how the ecosystem works and how they're gonna regrow plants to help it come back, and that's just me being a nerd about, oh, I've been watching videos about people reforesting deserts, and now that's what I'm interested in, so I'm gonna have them talk about it. Doc eating the vines had me laughing my ass off. We're waiting for Cleo. Cleo's coming. Cleo's coming. It's like I said, Green, Gem, Pearl. Some of the others, they'll be coming in book 2. Cleo's coming in this book. Cleo has a very important role in this book. Life everlasting, reanimation, the boldest new design, the finest human in all creation, body, bone, and mind. If you listen to the playlist I posted, there's hints. There's hints. Also, in general, if you've never listened to the Frankenstein musical, you should. The guy who plays Victor Frankenstein is the same guy who plays Seymour in Little Shop of Horrors. And he's very good at it. No, the tree just grew too fast. We can't get a lot of saplings out of it then. Okay, we got 4 at least. There we go. Boop. chain. I'm gonna go get some water, cause my throat needs some lubricant. I'll be right back. I got my water. I'm back. There we go. Back to chat. Rosie says, for me, I'm not scared of any particular animal, but if I see an animal that I know is dangerous or even don't know what it is, I'll be like, yep, nope. But that feels like common sense. Yeah, there's a phobia and then there's common sense. Like, if you see a snake, obviously, not touching the snake doesn't mean that you're afraid of it. It just means you know better. Daddy long legs are harmless to humans. It's just the legs for me. I know they're harmless. I just can't get over it. Yeah, I guess if you're not used to, like I said, we grew up with them just in our basements all the time. So it was like, they're just there. They're eating the dust mites. But yeah, I could see how the legs would be spooky. Goats eat everything, no joke. I've walked them in college. Yeah, you remember I walked goats in college? Yeah, even the smallest walks took ages because they were like, oh, I want to eat that. Cool. Cool. I'm still looking for a place to watch The Greatest Showman. Ooh, DVD. Just buy it as a DVD. Don't get a streaming service, just get it as a DVD. I love Greatest Showman. That's like up there as one of my favorite movies. I think favorite movies are the 2009, it was either 2009 or 2008. But, you know, the reboot Star Trek movie. I absolutely adore it, and I'll watch it. It's one of those ones that you could just watch over and over again. Again, the 2009 Sherlock Holmes with Robert Downey Jr. and Jude Law. Again, big influence on my love of the Victorian style and kind of steampunk style. I love how they decorated the movie. Like, if you watch it, just look at the colors for the background. Every single background, I'm going on tangent now, but if you watch the 2009 Sherlock Holmes movie, and just look at it from, like, a set design perspective, the way that they built London to look real and grimy, but at the same time sort of have that storybook feel that, like, this isn't a historical picture, this is a little bit of a fantastical picture of what could have happened. It looks really cool, and like the color for every scene is like monochrome, and they use color so deliberately, but it's so muted that you don't notice. So like every scene like has a color assigned to it. Like the fighting scene where he's like, you know, just doing a fight in the bottom of the bar, it's all browns. When they're in Baker Street has, the interior is very red. And then when they're like outside in the alleyway, it's all blue. When they're inside like the governor's palace, it's all gold. It's like every single background is monochrome, and it makes the characters stand out. I love it. I love it. It's so pretty. It's so grimy, but it's so pretty. And then you've got, like, each character very subtly has their own color assigned to them. So you've got, of course, Irene Adler wearing her navy blues, but underneath very bright pinks. She's the only pink that you'll see in the movie. You've got Watson, who's usually in, like, dark blues, and the blue is kind of his color, and it's to the point where he kind of blends into the background intentionally, and the only, like, spark of color you see is, like, the gold on his cane. And then, of course, Jude Law's sticking Jolly Rancher blue eyes. And then Sherlock Holmes is the only one who changes colors scenes to scenes with his outfits. It's like he's wearing green, he's wearing yellow, he's wearing red, he's wearing black, he's wearing brown. It's like he's the only one who like consistently changes his costume to blend in with whatever he has to do. And it's really cool. So yeah, 2009 Sherlock Holmes is my favorite movie of all time. And then third place, Greatest Showman. That's how we got on that. But yeah, the Sherlock Holmes movies, both first and second one, were like big influence on the Victorian style that I kind of infused with Tales of the S.S. Hermit, of like those muted natural colors with a little layer of grime, with, you know, the fantasticalness of it's a storybook. So a big inspiration for like costume and settings and stuff from those movies. I don't know what I'm gonna use. That's right, I'm using Jumbo Log for the store over there. That's my fast food restaurant, Fin and Out, by the way. My goal is to build one on every island. But I need the materials to build many. That's right, so I gotta keep chopping the pale oak, and then I gotta keep chopping these. And I think we have enough warped wood to last us for a bit. Actually, I think over here I made... Yep, okay, so I got a lot of warped wood. And I still have a lot of white, pale oak planks. Let me throw these away in here, my bamboo bits, don't need those. I got wheat. Let me clear out my inventory before I keep yapping, because that's gonna bother me. Doot. Bone meal, leaves, don't need leaves. I think I'm just gonna start throwing things in here. And then I can sort it. There we go. I used to have a spider that just lived in my room because at first I couldn't be bothered to take it outside, but then I was like, oh, there's a lot of flies. You can stay. Yeah, I said as long as they stay in their little corner, they're fine. I did have a spider living inside my window at one point in one of the apartments I was in. It was a jumping spider, and it was just a little bitty one. And he was really tiny, and... But the thing is with jumping spiders, their eyes are big enough that even when they're tiny, you can see their eyes. And he freaked me out a little bit, but he was on the screen, you know, inside the window. So I was like, okay, you can stay here for a bit and chill out. And then some days I didn't, you know, have the window open, and he just lived on the windowsill. He didn't go anywhere else in the house. He stayed in the window and in the windowsill. What did I name it? Horatio. I named him Horatio. And there was one day. I had the window open in the summer, and I heard this very, very intense just coming from the window, and it sounded like a power tool outside. It sounded like a power tool. And I looked at the window, and there is a wasp, a very long, big boy wasp, stuck in the window on the inside. And to tell you, I slammed the window shut so that, you know, it didn't get into the apartment. And I'm staring at the wasp stuck in the window, and I'm like, okay, it's hot out, we don't have air conditioning. What do I do? And then I look down on the windowsill, and little jumping spider Horatio is also sitting on the outside of the windowsill, on the same side as me, looking at the wasp stuck in the window that has just invaded his web. And there was this moment, I swear he looked at me like a dog, just... I can't do anything about that. Look at the size of him. Can you get him out? And I'm like, no, I can't get him out. And it was just this moment of both me and the spider looking at the wasp and being like, well, I guess you can stay on this side of the window for a bit. And then the wasp died and Horatio ate him. It was cool. On the last day we were in the apartment, I wanted to shoo him out so that the next person didn't kill him, so I kind of broke the screen a little bit to let him out, so he went back out into the wild. He was cool. Don't spiders have a lot of eyes? They have many, many eyes, and then for jumping spiders, I think their main ones are big enough that, like, you can see them with your own eyes from a distance. They're kind of cute, but still kind of spooky. And they got the little bits up front. I don't know if they're arms or teeth that, like, do that. If I found dead bugs in the apartment, I'd put them in the windowsill for Horatio to take them. He was cool. Like I said, any bigger than that, I don't know. My brain gets very uncomfy. We're trying. We're trying. Someday I'd like to be able to hold a tarantula, but I know that, like, if I did, caveman brain is so strong, I'd be worried that I would just throw it. So someday I'd like to be able to hold one. Like I said, I know they're not bad. I know logically that they're not scary. But caveman brain says that thing's gonna hurt me. So I just gotta be around them more. Oh, that's pretty much all the chores on the island. Let's go do some sailing. See if we can find some sheep. I'm gonna need some more bread. I once saw a jumping spider hunt a fly, and I saw quite an interesting tactic it had because it did not have a web. Yeah, that was it. When I gave dead bugs to Horatio, he crawled up and, like, pounced on it like a cat. Like, he did the little crawls, like, did it. Bam! And then he scared away with it. And I was like, it's just like a cat catching a mouse. Cool. Right, need some food, bring with me. Let's take our cooked cod. Got our shield, just in case. And I need a lead. In case I find one, because I could put one sheep in the boat. And then I can drag the other one behind us. What do sheep take? I'll take some wheat so I can lure them. There we go, just 2 pieces. Now, where did I park my boat? Jumping spiders can see into your soul, I swear. Yep. Where's my boat? Alright, time to do a lap around the island. We have 1 sheep, but the goal is to get another one. So then we can start dyeing their wool, shearing it, using it. Where did I park? Where? Not over here. Like I said, this is thinning out. I want to make some custom fish sticks and, like, other food things on Blockbench. And then, like I said, just have the restaurant pop up around the server on every single island. There's my boat. In the one spot I didn't look. Boop. And now let's see, what direction haven't I gone in yet? Okay, so we got some unexplored over here. Let's head out past Egg Rock Island, home with a rock that looks like an egg. Let's see what's over in this corner. Oh, there's Egg Rock. Here we go. I gotta drink some more water. I'm talking too much. There you go. But yeah, for latest chapter, that's this hermit. I wanted to... It was a chance for me to combine a bunch of things that I'm interested in. Because Here's the thing, I grew up in like the Rust Belt area of like the Northeast, so there was abandoned places. There were more abandoned places around us than actual like occupied spaces. We had more empty houses than full ones and more shutdown businesses than open ones. So I've kind of just always been surrounded by abandoned buildings. Cracked Jen says, I gotta go, have a nice stream. Goodbye! Thank you for stopping in! That's a cool looking island over there. I think somebody's living over here. Yep, there's the sugarcane. That's Bambi's house. Check out Bambi Builds on YouTube. Her stuff's really cool. Oh, you got a fence going up there. It's also my time to snoop on my neighbors. Cool. Maybe I'll build in the jungle biome. Next SMP I end up in. I got some flowers. But yeah, I always grew up around abandoned places. And in our time specifically, we had a lot of abandoned factories. So the thing, the town itself was a factory town. And all of the houses in the entire town grew around the factory and the workers that went there. So then when the factory shut down, everybody moved away and the entire place is now a ghost town. And there's just a giant aluminum factory sitting there, not doing anything. And like, I wasn't a wander off by myself kid, so I never did any, you know, actual exploring in the buildings. And also, I was a good kid. If I saw a no trespassing sign, I didn't trespass it. But for some of these buildings, you could go up to them and you could see inside the windows. And it was always such an eerie feeling looking inside these places and seeing everything just sitting exactly where it was. Like, there would be like a desk with papers on it. Somebody's work boots were still there. There's a coat hanging up. There's a mug that had coffee in it. And it was like, when these places shut down, it was like, grab your stuff and get out. There was no cleanup team coming in afterwards to like strip the building or get rid of anything. It was just, we're closed, don't come into work tomorrow. And then nobody set foot in that building for 50 years. So everything was just left as it was, with dust and cobwebs over top of it. And then you had like, it was the building itself decaying around the items that were left. And then of course the vines, we didn't have kudzu, but the vines in this town would grow up around these buildings, and it literally looked like the vines were starting to pull the buildings back into the earth. And sometimes you'd have just like entire trees just breaking out of the side of a factory, and it was really eerie seeing the place left as it was, but also really beautiful seeing nature just reclaim it and just take it back as if it was never there. And like I said, it was really spooky. Well, there's nothing out here. Let's start going this way. It was really spooky, but I've always been like fascinated by just the visuals of those. The broken bricks and the rusted metal just being wrapped up with greenery and vines and flowers. And it's always just been really beautiful to me. So this chapter was kind of a chance to write about it. Ooh, mushrooms. And we're gonna explore more of the town in coming chapters and just seeing this abandoned place kind of just left as it was with nature wrapping around it. Have you seen pictures of abandoned amusement parks? Yes, stuff like that where, like I said, the vines are just wrapping up around the roller coasters and the garbage is still there. Like, they closed and nobody came in to like clean it up and make it presentable for the next seller. It was just the door shut. And everything is still there. Like, the aprons in the fry stands are still hanging up. There's still tickets in the machine. Nobody came to clear this stuff out. It got put down and then it never got picked up again. And like I said, it's spooky to some, but also just really eerily beautiful. At least in my eyes. Like, some of my first like watercolor projects were like finding those places. Just, they were in our downtown. We didn't have to go far for them. It's like, you want to go to the abandoned factory? Yeah, let's go. And I would paint these places as my like first watercolor practice in school. We had like painting assignments. They weren't very good back then, because I was like 12. But the fascination was there. And that is like the weird thing about being in this town now, like out west in Colorado, is that everything here is new. Everything here was built in like the past like 50 years. Nothing's falling apart in this town, and it's strange. I haven't seen a decaying building yet. I'm like, oh, is this normal? It's weird. It's weird. But yeah, I wanted to kind of use that lifelong fascination in the story of detailing about the hermits exploring this abandoned place and just seeing everything left as it was. And of course the story behind it's a little bit sadder, where it wasn't just people being laid off, it was, the entire town succumbing to a plague within the span of a few weeks. And then, thinking of the schematics on that, like Tango said in the story, he's like, if the entire town got wiped out, somebody had to be the last one standing. They didn't have people to bury anybody, to bury everybody. Like, if you were the last one left, you didn't have anybody behind you to bury you. Mushrooms. Okay, I think I've been over here before. Nope, this is new. This is a different mushroom island than the one that we already discovered. Cool. Let's just do labs and fill in the map. Not really in the mood to do much work other than this. Those buildings are fascinating. Yes. I love looking at them. Like I said, even if I got the chance to go in one, I'd probably still be scared because, rusty metal and broken glass, and you're more likely to find animals in there, but there's also a chance you could find a person in there who you don't want to encounter. Yeah, let's make a turn. No, that's good. Keep going this way. Keep filling in the map. And then applying Impulse's phasmophobia reputation into his character and making him a ghost seer. This is really fun. So like I said, if we're talking about an abandoned island that's supposedly haunted, we're in a fantasy world. This place is absolutely haunted and ghosts absolutely exist. And using Impulse's phasmophobia background to add to his fantasy character and make him... I don't want to make him, like, too spiritual, but it's just the fact that, like I said in his character card, he was born at midnight, and he's always had this gift of, like, being able to hear and see through the veil at certain points, and it's just kind of something that's always followed him. There's not much he can do about it. There we go. Here's our resource island. We can just pick up dirt and stuff. And uh-oh, I hear it drowned. Get away from me. Get away from me. And there's nobody else online to sleep, and I don't have a boat! I don't have a bed! Elixir says, zombie off, have fun, goodbye! Thank you for stopping in! Arsuma says, I always wanted to see an abandoned building, but there really isn't many of them around my country. Huh. I'm trying to think of any place that I guess you live in a place that actually takes care of its buildings. You don't just leave them to rot. Because that's what a lot of abandoned places around, like, America and other countries is, like I said, they just got the call of, like, hey, don't come into work tomorrow. Place is laid off. And then nobody touched it ever again, and it was left to sit there for the next 50 years. And nature was like, okay, well, if you're not gonna clean it up, I will. But then you got the environmental stuff with that, for like, I'm just gonna keep paddling because I can hear him. Might have to make a pit stop at Alt's base to... That's 3,000 away. Okay, I think my island's closer. Let's go down the middle. Whatever occupied place we see first. Yeah, also with Impulse's ghost seeing and his ghost hunting, one of my favorite things to watch on YouTube is Ghost Files, which is the, if you've seen BuzzFeed Unsolved, it's the same guys, Ryan and Shane, just continuing to ghost hunt, but on their own channel. And I won't say that I like to watch ghost hunting videos, because I don't watch any other ghost hunters. I just like watching Ryan and Shane ghost hunt. But, like I said, aside from, you know, video game content, Ghost Files is the channel that I get most excited for anytime they post stuff. So, this chapter kind of also incorporated my love of the ghost stories and the ghost hunting videos. Yeah, let's go this way. Well, we have a place in our second biggest city that collects old buildings of different decades to show off how we lived decades back in time, but that place is a free attraction. Yeah, it's actually like it sounds like a museum. There are people who actually like take care of the buildings, and they don't just get left to rot. And also around America, especially, like I said, I was up in the Northeast, and, you know, the Northeast ain't exactly dry or warm, so with the cold and the rain, a lot of these places end up just, like I described in the story, the wood rots away, and the concrete holding the bricks together cracks, so over time these places just decay and go back into the earth. The only thing that exists is metal, is the nails, the rusty nails. We had one near our house, actually, just an actual, several abandoned houses. They weren't even for sale or anything. Nobody had claimed them. Whoever was in them last had, like, passed away or moved out, and it just... the house just stayed there. Nobody touched it. I think eventually the fire department used them as practice, and they just caught them on fire and put the fire out. And, you know, good use of an old building. It's not going to be used for anything else. Ow! I don't know if that's the lo-fi or if that's like a temple or something I'm going over top, but I just heard like a heartbeat sound. And I just ran over a pufferfish. Ow! My bones. My poor bones. But yeah, this chapter was important to take some time to walk with both B-dubs and Impulse. Because that back and forth that we saw in this chapter is going to influence sort of the rest of the story. This is setting the groundwork for what the rest of the story is going to look like in between them. And it's because a big thing with B-Dubs' character is that he is very superstitious. He's very wary of black magic and the damage it can do and what it means and like the evil spirits that it could unleash. And then you have Impulse, who's just walking straight into this, who's just walking straight into like the world of spiritualism and being able to see ghosts from beyond the veil and not seeing anything bad with it. He like acknowledges there's danger in it, but he also realizes like, oh, these are spirits of people who used to be there, and it's our duty to still help them. And B-Dubs is just absolutely not, don't touch it at all. So that dynamic. Oh, we got another portal over here. I think this is someone's farm. I think someone's... I thought a farm was over here. But like that dynamic of Impulse being willing to go into, to dive deeper into like black magic and like spirits and stuff, and B-Dubs being absolutely terrified of it and very cautious about it, is gonna influence some of the chapters coming up. But I also need to do it carefully because at the end of the day they're still friends, and I don't want it to be so much friction that it would make sense for them to pull away from each other. Like, their friendship has to like be strong enough to like hold them together despite that difference. There we go, we covered that up. Luffy says, reminds me of something that happened when I was in college. Ooh. I got some kelp. The ghost hunting, or...? And also... a whole bit of B-Dubs' daughter. I'm gonna take my hands off the controls. So spoilers if you haven't read the chapter yet. If you don't want spoilers, just hit mute for a little bit. Yeah, the ghost hunting. So, you know, at the end of the chapter, Etaroda, with Impulse being able to see ghosts, he's able to see the ghost of B-Dubs' daughter, hanging on to him. So in the story, I had some people in the comments were like wondering what happened to her. Was it did she die from the war? Was it an accident? Does B-Dubs blame himself? No, so that's not really a story secret or anything. His family got wiped out by the Scale Plague. The same plague that wiped out the island took out B-Dubs' family and a majority of his community. And how they were talking about, can you imagine how scary it would be being the last one standing? That's kind of B-Dubs' situation, is that a lot of his town was taken out by a plague, including his daughter, his wife, lots of other members of his family, and he was pretty much the last one standing. So that's why this scene in particular was like, especially like, I guess the word triggering for him, and he just, after seeing a kid who had been killed by the Scale Plague, he just makes a U-turn and just goes to find Scar. And through that whole scene, I wanted it to be very obvious that like B-Dubs is trying very hard not to cry. He's going to Scar. Somebody was wondering if he was going to Scar to distract Scar from seeing the bodies, or if he wanted Scar to distract him so he didn't think about it. He knew that if he asked Scar to talk, Scar would talk, and he's like, I need you to just talk to me about random bullshit so that I don't look at what's happening behind me. And like I said, Scar is very emotionally intuitive, so like he picks up, he's like, hey, are you okay? Did something scare you? And B-Dubs is just like, just talk, just talk, just talk. That does explain why he acted like that. I was confused about it. Okay. Hey, but yeah, he went to Scar to have him distract him from them uncovering the bodies in the house. And then at the end of it, he kind of like stands up and he's like, I need to go check on the horses now, and he just has to leave. So that's character beat-ups within this made-up story. I was not aware in the slightest that in real life, Beat-Ups had a daughter who passed away around the time of season 5. Because somebody else in the comments was like, oh, I wasn't expecting you to bring this up, but like the fact that you're incorporating so many real-world events into this is really incredible how you're incorporating it into the story. And I'm like, what? So I went back and watched Imp and Skids podcast, because I imagine that's where it was explained. And yes, at the end of it, Beat-Ups had a daughter that was born with difficulties, and she passed away within, you know, a few hours. And after walking away from that, I'm like, I didn't know that. And to make it a little bit more spooky, her name was Ivy. So I'm just gonna be real clear about this, that I did not know that was a real thing that happened. I was just being mean to his character. I was just kicking his character. I did not know that was a real life event that happened. And now I feel bad for what I'm gonna do, for what I'm gonna keep doing to him. I'm still gonna keep kicking him, but I didn't realize that was something that happened in real life, so whoops. All I can say about that is I'm sorry, Beat-Ups, and whoops. But like I said, separation of the real life person from the character to the character that we create for the fan fictions. We acknowledge that they are different people. So like the real life person and the character they're separate entities. And I aspire to treat them as such. But for a chapter about ghosts and spooky things, that was a little spooky to learn afterwards. I was like, okay, sorry about that. I didn't know. Like I said, I was just being mean to his character. I didn't mean for that to be based on the real events. I'm just being mean to, you know, Beat-Ups, the druid halfling. Like I said, I'm gonna keep being mean to him. We've only just begun. Everybody's gonna get their turn to be kicked. Everyone's gonna get a chance for me to beat them up equally. Maybe not equally. Some I'm gonna kick more than others. Mumbo. But yeah, for some reason I just saw Beat-Ups' character and I was like, I'm gonna bully you. Sorry, I'm pretty sure that the real ghost started haunting you. Yeah, like I said, the spookiest thing is that her name was Ivy. I'm like... So, complete coincidence. This is a work of fiction. Did not mean for it to reflect that. Stop touching me. But that was a little spooky, and like I said, especially for a chapter talking about ghosts and spooky things. Whoa. I'm gonna bully you, points down. Yep. Like a Beat-Ups character, and I'm like, I'm gonna kick you. JMPT, welcome back. How's everyone since I was gone? We're doing good. We're still yapping about SS Hermit. And right now I'm just trying to fill in the map around the islands and just take care of these blank spots. So I realized I need to turn around. I went too far. So let's start heading back to our islands. But yeah, the impulse seeing ghosts and being able to see Beat-Ups' daughter will come back again. But for right now, it's explaining a plot point, but it's not really a plot point. So it's backstory. I suppose we haven't found a single sheep yet. Oh, mapping, my favorite chore in Minecraft. Yeah, look at that. Look at this. I'm filling in all these blank spaces. We got some mushrooms. Let's go say hi to them. Let's go say hi to them real quick. Hi, buddies. Hi, babies. Oh, they got a little baby. Look at that. I just realized I never thought of like a scene for SS Hermit where they come across a mushroom island. That'd be cool to write that in. I forgot about that. Oh, not too much over here. Ouch. It's just a small one. We've got a lot of tiny ones. Scattered around here. I think that's another one over there. Yeah, we've got a bunch of tiny mushroom islands scattered around here. There's another over there. Let's make sure we're going the right way. Yep. I turned a mushroom island into a nitwit daycare. Aww. Here we go. Here's a bigger one over here. Oh, that's getting dark, so let's see. I know those are the markers for my house over there, so let's see if we can make our way back while filling this in. Didn't find any sheep, didn't find any new islands. It's just water out here, and then the 2 mushrooms. So I didn't see any sheep. But I want to get some sheep to start making yellow wool. Because if I can just get 2. So right now I got 1. If I can get another one. And just dye it yellow, then I can have the yellow decorations for Finn and Out. Because I want to make a shark fin on top that's like in the shape of an arrow. So instead of the in and out sideways arrow, it's just turned around to be a shark fin. And then I gotta make the actual food to go inside before I can start popping them up all over the place. The nitwits usually die or get turned into zombies because they're so dumb. Someday I'll work with villagers. There we go. We got a little bit left. Gotta make a turn. I'm not leaving 1 pixel. I'm not leaving 1 pixel behind. What is that? I see something glowing. I left a pixel! There we go, got it. There, we're doing it, we're doing it. Yeah, I think next chapter is gonna follow Cub. Because I realize the experiments that Cub wants to do, involving like robotics and black magic, is also going to be important to the plot. So next chapter is going to be a good chance to just kind of follow around a bunch of different hermits and show like the individual pockets of their jobs on the island. So like, you know, just have a chapter of like showing what they do on the weekend after they've cleared out the village. Because I want to have Exuma go exploring in the ocean as a sea turtle. I want to spend some time with Cub and see him get his little his little workshop set up and explain in more detail what exactly he wants to do. Missed a spot. Because like I said, that's going to be important. And that's going to tie in with like the Allays and the Vexes as they come in later. And they're going to be important. I mapped a 100 map of my world and I had a few pixels missing. I crashed out. Aww. Absolutely valid crash out. There, but look at that, look at that. Now we just got this little blank spot over here. If we're on the ocean, it's about face. Move it this way. And there we go. So straight ahead, we should hit it. Sea turtles are cute. Yeah. So I want to have a moment of Exuma shapeshifting into sea turtle to go and explore underwater. And a part of the story is, like I said, combining the fantasy aspect of like what you'd find in a D&D campaign with just the naturally generating stuff of Minecraft. So it would make sense for Exuma to do some exploring underwater and find a shipwreck. Now I wonder who this shipwreck could have belonged to. Resource Island, that way. I think... Yeah, we got a little bit to go. And maybe call in Jevin, because now I know what Jevin's backstory is, of him being an ex-pirate. Exuma could call Jevin down and be like, hey, I found a ship underwater. It's got a big painting on the side of it. Do you recognize it as another pirate ship? And then follow Joe and False as they do their other waterworks thing, because they still need to find a freshwater spring. And just show them, have a moment of him being teacher to her, and giving her, you know, the lessons on like, you don't need to swing the sword at everything. Sometimes you can just calm down and step away, or you can handle things in a different way other than, you know, beating up whatever makes you mad. And then just have a moment of him being, you know, the hippie teacher to her as they look for the spring in the woods, and maybe finding something else along the way. So, because even though like the story has so far been following like Scar and Mumbo, at this moment they are just kind of doing their jobs. And it's like, they're busy. We'll follow somebody else for now. So we're gonna follow Cub. And then maybe follow another group as they go and look for like some fields where they can put the horses and the cows. And they can find some caves while they're exploring. So just have a chapter of them like exploring the island and following the groups as they do their individual jobs. So I think that's what next chapter is going to be. But that's going to lead into 13. 13's going to be fun. Because somebody is going to show up. We're almost there. That sounds cool. I would do that. Have little houses and cottages all around my friend's server with characters and villagers. Oh, like I said, I want to set up different Finninouts just on every island to just poke fun at fast food restaurants, where it's like no matter where you go in the world, you're gonna find an Arby's. Just sitting there. You're gonna find a McDonald's at the top of a mountain because they're that relentless, and I'm gonna put them in annoying spots too. Outside someone's door. Oh, there we go, we're almost done. Is that? Ooh, chest. But it's nighttime. Doesn't look like anything's gonna kill me. Let's see if this is unexplored. Oh, coal. Coal is helpful. I don't have a lot of that. Or wheat. Coal, and ooh, a good fishing rod. Nice. So yeah, have a moment in SOS Hermit where Exuma just does the treasure diving. that you do in the game. Look at all these desert islands over here. Neat. There we go. That should be it. That's gonna be a hilarious prank, building McDonald's or a Walmart in front of someone's house. Yeah. I told them they have full permission to tear it down when it happens, but it will happen. Just, boop. Burger joint. What are you gonna do about it? Fitted Out's logo. What are you gonna do about it? Here's Resource Island. This is a new one over here. Sorry, I keep touching my face. My hair is like tickling my forehead. Ah! I built a very tiny Walmart before as a wool shop. I named it Walmart. There we go, we can chill out over here for a bit. Do I have a shovel? I don't have a shovel. I need to make a shovel because I need to do a lot of sand and gravel digging. Because I want to make concrete. I want to make concrete. I could also go to the Nether and start picking up quartz. Because that's the thing, is that I don't really have a drawn out design yet for the resort. I just know that it's going to be like kind of in the style of that Frutiger Arrow Wii Sports Resort type looking thing, with a lot of white, a lot of blue, and I know that with the colors we're going to need just a lot of concrete and a lot of materials, because it's going to be a mega build. It's going to be big. It's going to be like my... I can't say my first mega build, because I made the red rocks. I made the custom red rocks over on Stonemania, so I guess that was first mega build. But this will be my first, like, building. My first non-naturally forming mega build. Oh, sheep. There we go. It's got a baby! I'll leave that one. But I just need a second one. Understandable, I used to have long hair. Yeah, you seen me when I first started the channel, it was all the way down my back and then got it all lopped off. And now, but now it's growing back. All of this used to be like up here. And it was sticking up like that. And in like the few months since, I got it cut in November. It's all the way down here now. It's literally becoming like sheepdog bangs in front of my eyes. The thing is, I realized that while my hair was short, I don't wear hats as much, because the main purpose of a hat for me is to keep my hair out of my eyes. But now it's getting longer again. It's like, alright, time to pull the hats back out. Okay, this. There we go. Here's a bunch of them. I want to make sure I get the one that doesn't have baby attached. Unless the baby just grew up. I think the baby just grew up. Come here. We gotta go down a treacherous hillside, but I'm gonna take you back and I'm gonna dye you yellow. There we go. I'm just gonna take you into the water. If you're cool with that. There we go, you can swim. And I think I parked over on this side. You still here? You're still here. Come on, bud. Come on, we're gonna take you back. I gotta find my boat. I've said this before, but I wish we had more catchable fish in the game. So hopefully in a coming update, There's the boat. Hopefully in a coming update. So I know we have all these tropical fish that you can like catch with a bucket. But here, if I get out, then you get out. There we go. I got you on. I got you on. There we go. Let's head back to our island. Sheep have always been the easiest mob to transport, for me at least. Yeah, they're very simple. Look at that. Look at that face. So we'll take this one and... I may have already plundered this one. I think I may have been the one to get this one. Yeah, I took the chest. Okay. Well. There we go. Give me my lead back. That's expensive. Where's my lead? Where's my lead? Hey! Oh well. Ah! There we go. Yeah, I get you more fish. Yeah, like catchable fish. Because right now we've got all these fish in the ocean that we can see with all the different designs you can pick up in a bucket. But catchable fish, we're still limited to cod and salmon. Give us some trout. Give us some bluegill. Something. Tuna. Tuna would be cool. Tuna's big. For the longest time, I always thought that tuna were like tiny fish. And then, because I just never seen a picture of one, you always just hear it as like food. And then it was like years before I actually saw a picture of one, and it's just... it's huge. Yeah, I think it's because I was like, when I was little, I got them mixed up with like anchovies on pizza, and anchovies were like itty bitty. I might make some fish sticks tonight. I can't stare at the water for too long, it bugs my eyes out. And I need to make some shovels. Look at all that sand over there for the taking. I don't think anyone's claimed that island, so we might just start tearing it apart for resources. Well, Bedrock's got free DLCs with more animals from Mojang in the store. Basically mods from Mojang. Ooh, cool. We got that. This is on Java, but I do want to ask one of our mods if we can maybe add in a mod that gives us some more ocean life. Just cause it'd be cool. Oh no, the bunnies! Oh well. The bunnies were stuck in the water. Jan, talking too much. I have felt that recently, that my heart and my breathing isn't too happy with me, because I'm getting like out of breath, like going upstairs and stuff. Which is like understandable considering walking and running are difficult and painful for me. But yeah, I realized health-wise, because I do go to the gym a bit, but I've been doing mostly lifting. and ab stuff. And I realized, okay, well, my lungs are... I'm getting winded by talking, so I guess I should try and find some form of cardio that I can do. Look at Finn out back there. Because like I said, I like going to the gym, but it's mostly just me laying on a mat doing core workouts and lifting the baby weights. And I just avoid the treadmill because it hurts. And it's like, you know what, I think I should probably be doing some make a conscious effort to do cardio. So for the past few gym times, I've been trying to use the elliptical. Because just think, if I use... I can't run. I can't run without hurting myself. My knees and my hips will just pop. They'll slide out of place and it won't be a good day. But on the elliptical, it lifts your legs for you, and it gives you that guiding movement, so that when I use it, I don't, dislocate my hips or fall over. Because I tried to use the treadmill before, and even just walking at like a slightly faster pace, I almost fell over so many times. I had like a death grip on the edge of it, because I just kept teetering. But on the elliptical, with the movement underneath you, it like keeps my body in place, and it doesn't allow my joints to like overextend or go in the wrong direction, because it's just constantly pushing me this way. And I'm able to do about like 10 minutes on the elliptical, which I'm very proud of. Up you go. Up you go. Uppies. Uppies. There you go. There you go. Back we go. Proteus says, guess who still isn't watching the Super Bowl this year? I don't even know what teams are playing. I just know it's happening, and the world is spiraling around us. If you find something that makes you excited to get friends together and have pizza and chips and have a good day watching sport game, go for it. Go for it. Us nerds have our Doctor Who Christmas specials. Sport guys gotta have Super Bowl. What teams did make it? Anyways, like I said, I want to watch... I'll probably watch the video of halftime show. The halftime shows are fun. And the commercials. Yeah, I'll watch the halftime show tomorrow. Yeah, oh, it's tomorrow. Is the Super Bowl today? Where's tomorrow? It's Sunday. The Super Bowl's happening today. Oh well. Back to what I was doing. Halftime show is free tomorrow on YouTube. Got it. We all start somewhere at the gym. Yeah, like I said, I've been going for a while, and, I make a point to, like, eat healthy foods and stuff, take care of myself. Not that I can eat junk food anyway, because it would make my tummy hurt. But I make a point to be healthy, but then I still feel my lungs running out of air when I'm breathing. And I'm like, I think I gotta do some form of cardio. It's like it's difficult when you baseline have difficulty walking, but the elliptical is helping. I'm gonna need a new axe. Dang it. Ursuma says, I'm gonna go. Have a nice stream, peeps. Goodbye. Thank you for stopping in. I don't know sports, so I just say I think the Lakers are gonna win every time someone asks me anything. Like I said, I enjoy going to sport games. Because in high school, I went to a few, like, hockey games and baseball games, and, like, actually going to a game in person is fun. Especially if you're going with somebody who knows what's happening. And then you just get hot dog. And I don't know, like nachos or something. And then you just watch some guys beat the crap out of each other. So I'm a good audience. And also I just get excited anytime I get to leave the house, period. So I like going to games if the chance arises, but I don't know anything about it. We all have our things we're interested in. If you're excited about sports and it engages you and it gives you something to smile about and look forward to, then who are we to judge? They each their own. Go throw that ball. Do a good job about it. Oh, I got 6 out of that. Cool. Boop, 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 boop. Let's go pick up some yellow and dye our sheep. Boop. Where are you, baby? Boop, boop. And now I don't think I have a pair of shears. I got the hiccups. Ah! We'll keep that in there. Oh, we have enough. We could plant another oak tree. A singular piece of dirt. What am I gonna do with that? I'm trying to decide where to put this. Miscellaneous box it is, along with the lead. And fishing rod. I'll keep the boat in here so I don't lose it. Got some extra coal, that's nice. Here's my treasure box. Do I have a specific box for coal? Oh, I got some glass. I don't remember what I was going to use the glass for, but I got some now. Okay. Thinning out. I was going to use it for thinning out, but I stopped pacing and I need to make. Cheers. Put the iron back. Put that back, and let's get here, buddy. Let's go find our sheep. Give them a shear. There you are. Come here. Come here. Where's your friend? I'll wait for your friend to show up. Let's get some wool off of you. 1 piece. Very nice. Thanks. That's better. And you. Snip. And we're gonna take the other pale oak. And we're gonna put that down. And we'll wait for that to grow. And now let's make some more sheep. Okay, here's 1. Again, where's 2? There's 2. Little naked baby. There you go. And a baby yellow sheep. And so our army begins. Proteus says, I always forget the Super Bowl was this early into the year. I always think it's in March or something. Yeah, it feels like something that's in March, but it's like, nope, February. Okay, you got all the Valentine's Day stuff in the stores, but then you've also got the Super Bowl stuff. Of like the cakes and the football balloons and stuff. I keep ending up with garbage in my inventory. Let's go put the glass down. There we go. Can't have a business with open windows. There we go. Here's Finn and Out for now. We've got our outdoor seating. And then on the inside, we got our counter and our booths. It definitely needs more decoration. And I think once we set it up as an actual business, up here we'll have chests holding the fish sticks and fish patties and stuff. Luffy says, I was working as a courtesy clerk at a grocery store on Super Bowl Sunday one year, and the manager didn't schedule many people to work, saying, we'll be slow, he said. Everyone will be home watching the Super Bowl. My response was they'll be wanting party food beforehand and during halftime, and sure enough, we were slammed. Exactly. Exactly. Everyone's home, but everybody's hosting at their homes at the same time. So the grocery stores get slammed. How much do I have? Do I have enough to do what I want to do? Also, now I got glass left over, so that's good. I'll put it in the toolbox. Which one of you had... Here we go, Finn and Out materials. Put the glass away. And I'm dying of hunger, so I'm gonna eat the single piece of bread that I have in my inventory. Oh, and I was the only courtesy clerk. That's carry out, the person who bags the groceries and carries them to the cars, collects carts and puts them back on the shelves. You were the only one. Oh, but you got Employee of the Month. Yay! Did you get a raise? No. Oh, that was the baby. The baby just grew up. Cool. I can't get up to the roof. I need some dirt. I need labels. I don't have that much dirt. It's weird going from Stonevania to here because on Stonevania I've got like thousands of stacks of dirt. And over here it's like, nope, one piece. Anyway, dropping the lurking because I gotta feed Benny and get supper myself before my stream. Oh, cool! JM says, I miss when Employee of the Month was actually something people worked for because it meant higher pay. Oh. We don't have an Employee of the Month at my store. We just clock in. Nobody really wants to be there. We all acknowledge that. Okay, I'm trying to make a shark fin and I want it to turn into an arrow at the bottom. I might need more. I'm definitely gonna need more. Ouch. I don't know how to make a shark fin. But I want to get rid of these. Come here, sheep. I'm just gonna stand here. Snip you. Come here, let's make some more. Let's make some more of you guys. I think we're gonna need a lot. Come here. This way. They look so silly when sheared. Boop and boop. When did that ever happen? Employee of the month doesn't entail a raise. At some places there may be a little bonus, but I'm pretty old and it's never meant more money at any of the places I've worked. And the little bonus is like a $10 gift card. Accurate. That kind of looks like a shark fin. Thank you. Please don't get stuck in there. There we go. I worked in a restaurant. They removed it 5 years ago because it meant nothing. Because they stopped paying more about 15 years ago. Exactly. Boop. I think I still need more wool. There we go. Replenish. Where's the other one? There's 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. 23. We should have enough with 23. This is my first time trying to make like a shape in the air. So we've got that as the tip. I think this is correct. No, that don't look good. And then just remove anything that doesn't look like a fin. Okay, and the arrow needs to be more obvious. Nervous to step back and look at this one. I don't have my free cam. Oh wait, I do. I forgot we added that. Well. Not bad. Okay, so this just needs to come up higher. And that does look a lot like, that's just a straight up T. So this needs to, I basically just need to build on top of those. It just needs some shading, you're right. There we go, this is a better view. That needs to go up. Almost, that looks better. So that's a visible arrow now. It's obvious, it's a little bit more obvious what it is now, as a fin and an arrow. But I feel like the top is still a little bit too chunky. Maybe an extra one? Good enough. Good enough. It's readable as a shark fin. And an arrow. The point is, it's big, it's yellow, it's obnoxious. And that's the point. I missed. This stuff is expensive. There you go. Fit. And now let me count. Because I want to make sure I know the amount of wool that I'm going to need for each one. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So we need 24 pieces of wool for each arrow. I think we can do that. Between the 4, probably soon to be 5 sheep we got over here. Come here. Should have been long enough. Yep. And now we're making a more sheep. I just need to run around the island and find them. And then, like I said, hopefully soon I'll learn how to use Blockbench so I can make my little custom items to put inside of Fin and Out. But for now, I think, yeah, from down here, from the ground, it looks... it looks like a fast food logo. And there's my usual ending music telling me that it's almost time to wrap up. But I want to finish some final pieces over here. Do a little bit more wool snipping. Let's grab a diamond and make ourselves a shovel. We need that. We need one. Oh. Got more wheat. I'll put these away, and I think next time we'll do some mining again. Because we still need some more gems. Now we got our wool, and which one? This one, top chest up here, is holding our finning out materials. Very limited palette. I guess I could throw some diorite in there for the countertop once I find some more. I know I have extra. I guess not. Okay, so we need to find some more diorite for the counter. Some more bamboo. That's right, that's what we have the bamboo in our inventory for. We can take these out. For our chairs. And the goal is to be able to fit this entire thing in inventory. So then I can just cart off the different islands and start putting it down. And we'll put the shears in here. And I guess all we're gonna need is a bunch more cod. So I will take a moment to sit on the pier over here. And we'll just do some fishing. There we go. Cod right away, that's what we're looking for. So yeah, so now's the time I gotta talk out loud to myself to make sure I keep track of what I need to do this week. So once again, work has only scheduled me for one day, so I am open to stream. And if you're enjoying the stream and you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do that. We are trying to push this channel up to 500 so we can unlock some monetization, and from there we'll be on the way to 1,000. So hopefully someday I can make this my job. That's the end goal of the channel, and to have fun. And you know, make a little space where we can just hang out, relax, talk about Minecraft, talk about silly things, talk about fan fiction, fan art, complain about school and jobs and other stuff like that. I don't know, I really appreciate you guys. I love the little community that's building here so far, and it just brings a smile to my face every time I go live and get to hang out with you guys. It really is highlight of my day. And I feel like every time I finish a stream, it's like getting on a roller coaster. I want to just go back in line and just fire it up again. So thank you guys so much, so much for being in the chat, for watching, for listening, for putting me on in the background while you do your dishes. It's been a lot of fun so far, and I can't wait to see where this channel goes. There we go. And in the meanwhile, some things coming up. Like I said, this week, don't really have much to do. I'm gonna, of course, keep shotgunning my resume to more businesses, see if I can get a response at least. At least the honor of saying no. The dignity. Okay, so we'll see. We'll keep trying. We'll keep trying. We'll get one eventually. But aside from job hunting, I'm gonna be streaming. I'll probably be on with Island Life some more. Working on... oh, another fishing rod. Working on finning out and just gathering more materials. And hopefully we'll run into some people and maybe hang out with them. So we got Altair. A few of them are busy this week, so they're not gonna be on as much. But we'll see who we can hunt down. I don't know. Maybe do a mining session with somebody. So I'll be doing more Island Life. I'm gonna try to record some more episodes of Professor Layton and Stonevania. And we'll see how quickly I can get those done. This is a note from me. I need to work on a video that Hinata sent me to edit. Not big time editing, but just like go through and trim some dialogue out. But I need to do that before Tuesday. So that's probably what I'll work on after this, so I don't forget. And then, oh, that's right, tomorrow's Monday. We'll be back with Mario Kart Monday tomorrow. Wait, so that's highlight of my week right there. I love Mario Kart Monday. We'll be back with more Cobblemon. I love Cobblemon, and I already feel like I've been away from my babies too long. I love them and I miss them. I want to go hang out with my Ivysaur some more. Mario Kart? Yeah, Mario Kart Monday. Every Monday we play Mario Kart. 8, not World, because we can't afford Nintendo Switch in this house. So just a regular Mario Kart 8, and we'll just hop on the online racing and do some laps while we yap about, like I said, anything you want to complain about, stuff that ticks you off, stuff that makes you happy. Just come on in here and yap. Who needs therapy when you can just talk to a streamer? And who needs therapy when you can talk to an audience? There we go. We're getting a lot of fish this time. Good. And in the meanwhile, I want to start working on another animatic. Like I said, right now my brain is just so focused on this and all of the tasks I need to do relating to the gaming channel. I want to make an animatic, but I gotta pick one of many ideas and focus. And at least get it started. Because I can make a rough animation in like span of a few hours, but then cleaning it up is what takes months and months. And as like I said, I've got a list of like 20 ideas for animatics, and I just gotta pick one. There we go, but yeah, we'll be back tomorrow with Mario Kart Monday. I think Tuesday will either be Island Life or Cobblemon. At some point, I need to record my videos, so no streaming, but just sit down and record to get some more stuff built on Stonevania. And like I said, I don't want to abandon Professor Layton. I'm running into difficulties with recording it, because like I said, Professor Layton is only available on like the DS where he originally was, and mobile. So I've got it up on my iPad, and I'm screen recording my iPad while recording myself over here. And that process just takes so many extra steps that it is getting a little frustrating. But I am genuinely so intrigued by the mystery that I want to finish it. I have to see what happens. I gotta know how it ends. But because it's so difficult to record, I don't think I'll do the other 2 games of like Curious Village. No, I'm doing Curious Village, but Mystery Master. No. Which ones are like the main 3? That's Diabolical Box and the time one. Twist in Time. Whatever that was, but I don't think I'll be recording them just because, like I said, it's such a hassle to record from iPad and then here and then edit the 2 together. And I'm like, I might come back to them someday, but I might just play the rest of them on my own. When Professor Layton in the World of Steam comes out, that's going to be on the Switch, and that one will be able to stream. So I think as I'm recording the Professor Layton episodes, the only reason I'm not streaming it is, like I said, because it's on the iPad and I can't get it to my computer. But Professor Layton in the World of Steam will be on Switch, and I am definitely going to be streaming that. Because like I said, while I'm recording it, just the episodes of Curious Village, I'm having so many thoughts of like, these puzzles would be so much fun to do in front of an audience. because I get stuck on some of the simple ones, but it would be really fun to like group project the puzzles and work them out, and then of course do the character dialogue in real time. Also, given the pacing of the game, to cut it up into 20-minute episodes really doesn't allow for much to happen inside the episode because the characters talk so much. Nothing really progresses within that time. It feels like it has to be like you have to sit down and play it for like an hour or two to actually get a hold of the story. So I'll try to sit down and record Curious Village. Like I said, just because I want to see what happens, and I don't want to have any like half-finished series on this channel. Like if I start a game, I want to finish it, or at least get to a good stopping point before I stop making the episodes. And for Professor Layton, I don't want to let it fizzle out. So I want to play it, see what happens, record it, get my reaction live, and turn those into episodes. But I gotta keep recording that. I'm gonna record some stuff for Stonebania. And then... Sorry, just hiccup. Keep streaming over here on Island Life, getting our stuff together for Finning Out. And... recording Cobblemon. Like I said, I'm super excited to keep playing Cobblemon. I'm really glad I picked it up because it's grabbed me. It's fun. I've even started just logging in on my own and just doing some battles to level up the mons. But I'm excited. And then, of course, on Saturday, Valentine's Day, me, Hinata, and possibly Mystic will be playing Monster Prom for your viewing pleasure. And like I said, this week I also want to put together a little video of some Felix highlights to celebrate having him for a full year. So I got a lot to do. But in the meanwhile, like I said, if work isn't gonna schedule me, I might as well just keep grinding away over here. So on one hand, it's oh no! On the other hand, it's oh no. I get to keep hanging out with you guys and streaming and doing what I want to do. What a shame. Yeah, because these periods of no work, I had another period like back in summer when I was looking for a job the first time around. As stressful as these weeks are, because money isn't coming in and money's going out for rent and stuff, as stressful as they are financially, like physically and mentally, this is like the best I've ever felt. Because I'm doing what I love, hanging out with people I like hanging out with, and then when I'm done, I get to go to the gym and go for a walk and pick up garbage. If I could have a job picking up garbage, I'd be really happy, because I just go up and down the sidewalks outside the apartment and clean up the litter that got blown out of the cans. I love doing it. And like, if I have this thought so many times of like, this is what I want my life to be. Like I said, come in and stream, talk to chat, record videos, edit videos, hang out with my cats, go to the gym, go for a walk, pick up garbage. It's beautiful. I'm not putting my body in pain. I'm not working with people who don't want to work with a disabled person. It's beautiful. We'll get there. We'll get there, no matter what happens. No matter what happens, this is my dream, and by God, I'm gonna keep working towards it. And whatever your dream is, I hope you keep working towards yours. Every day, get a little bit closer. Go fast like a roller coaster. Love like yours will surely come my way. fish. Let's go for a little bit more. Oh, this fish. Let's go until the fishing rod breaks. But yeah, like I said, I know the world is scary. A lot of events are happening. But hold on to whatever dream you got, whatever plans you have for the future. Don't let the stuff happening in the world scare you away from it. You got this. You just gotta be clever. You gotta think your way through things. Use your brain. Sometimes you gotta use a little bit of brute force. But you'll get there. We'll all get there. We all deserve to live the life we're dreaming of. Every single one of us. And we will get there. One way or another. It might not be in the way you think. Might not happen when or where or how you think. But you'll reach it. Whatever your goals are, you got this. Oh, we got a bowl. I'm talking about goals, not bowls. But okay. Yeah, so whatever dreams you got, hold on to them and keep working hard. You keep working hard. And everything's gonna turn out okay. We got this. We got this. And on that note, I think this is a good spot to wrap it up for today. I want to thank you all for joining me as we kind of just wandered aimlessly and picked some things up. We did a little bit of work. We did a little bit. We accomplished our goal of finding a sheep and turning it yellow. Oh, I gotta crack my back. I gotta crack my elbow. There we go. I think I am due for a little bit of stretching. Look at that bush. Look at that bush. This one looks. Oh, but thank you all for coming out and watching. Thank you all for joining me and yapping for a few hours on this beautiful Super Bowl Sunday. And remember, if you're enjoying the videos or the VODs or anything else that gets put up on this channel, make sure you leave a like, leave a comment, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a moment of my cute face. This has been The Brave